This is the SANAT Kumara. Welcome back, everyone. I'm delighted that you tune in again. I'm an advanced Deva being from Venus who serves as the Chief Operating Officer of planet Earth. In today's podcast and YouTube message, I would like to have my walk-in Dr. Martina Violetta Jung introduce herself to you. Tell you how she was prepared for this task and talk about the manner in which we are working together. Over to you now, dear Martina. Hello everyone. I would like to structure what I'm revealing to you by answering 5 more specific questions that I suspect are of interest to you. But please feel free to ask further questions using the contact button on the website thesanatkumara.com by the 26th of August. The 5 questions I answer today are: who am I in the dense physical of this incarnation? Who am I on soul level? How did my spiritual journey in this life start and evolve until I became the walk-in of the SANAT Kumara? How did I build trust in my own abilities beyond what the 5 senses showed and my thinking initially allowed for? And finally, how are the SANAT Kumara and I working together today? So let's start with question number 1. Who am I in the dense physical of this incarnation? I'm 58 years of age, born and raised at the outskirts of a small town in the German countryside by loving parents who worked in a metal factory and in a grocery shop. I have an elder brother and a younger sister, and with us in the house lived a grandmother and a granduncle. The house was surrounded by woods, meadows, fields, and animals of all kinds. Because of that background, I was excluded from certain sports and social activities in town. We were considered lesser in status. This constant experience instilled the desire to devote my professional career to justice and a way of life based on equality in the widest sense. I studied law at 2 universities in Germany and soon discovered that law and justice are not the same. During my PhD studies at Wuhan University in the People's Republic of China in 1989 and 1990, I had my first serious encounter with spirituality. The Chinese law professor who guided me pointed me to the harsh Chinese realities way back then. But in this so very different culture and reality, he also introduced me to what he considered supreme in his culture, Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. Not by handing me a copy of the book, but rather by teaching Lao Tzu's wisdom by his example in daily life. I only discovered later what treasure he had handed to me in our time together, and I'm forever grateful for setting me on the spiritual path of self-responsibility in harmony with all that lives. Having returned to Germany, I became a business lawyer, specializing in helping companies with their Chinese joint ventures, suffered a burnout and joined the shipping company Hapag-Lloyd Container Line, first as a director marketing Europe, and at the age of 34 became the managing director of the company's Belgium subsidiary. I left this responsibility behind after 2 years to become self-employed in order to be able to live by the standards of my own values and according to my own rhythm of growing. The start of me being my own boss for the next 10 years working out of Belgium overlapped with 18 months as an interim CEO of Ageless, a shipping, forwarding and warehousing company with headquarters in Antwerp and business in the former states of the Soviet Union as well as in Asia. My self-employed business comprised of management team integration after mergers and acquisitions of stock-listed European companies, individual leadership coaching, as well as positions in supervisory boards of companies in Belgium and Luxembourg. Fast forward to 2006, and picture me with my former husband and close Japanese friends out and about in Tokyo and Kyoto, celebrating New Year together the Japanese way, which means visiting numerous temples and shrines. During this holiday, my friend Mieko called me the most spiritual person she knows, and I stared at her in utter disbelief. She asked what my horoscope said. I laughed at her. I never thought about things like that, but her comment kept haunting me. After returning back home, I consulted an astrologer with some 30 years of full-time professional experience. His reading of my birth horoscope was jaw-dropping even for him, and started my quest to learn more about my higher self, my soul, my life's mission, wherever I could find it. And as I searched, answers came in the most unexpected manner and circumstances whenever I moved outside of my established circle of people and activities. In 2008, Upstairs, as I call all those who give guidance from higher dimensions in general, closed down my life in Belgium and got me ready to relocate back to Germany. As of January 2010, I was back in Hamburg, on my own, working as a trustee for privately owned companies, leaving me with sufficient time tending to and discovering myself wholeheartedly. A book I had written earlier about the human side of integrating two companies led to an invitation to a spiritual live talk show in Las Vegas in early January 2013. My heart said, I should go. In Las Vegas, I met two other talk show guests. One, a highly evolved spiritual US diplomat, the other, a businessman, yet a modern alchemist at the same time. In the evening before the talk show, the modern alchemist took me out to dinner and told me what my task in this life was, as he could read it in my aura. His message confirmed what the astrologer had revealed to me. After the talk show, the US diplomat took me out for a drink and became even more specific in who I really was and offered guidance from Lord Maitreya, provided by a group of spiritually advanced people who are in constant contact with master teachers, or ascended masters as they were called then. I gladly and gratefully accepted. I shall call this group of people service team for the purpose of this podcast and YouTube message to you. These people provided the door, the gate to the master teachers and the communication with them. That brings me to question number 2. Who am I on soul level? My soul has served and gathered experience by sending out its aspects since the universe prior to this one. During the last 240,000 years of this universe, I served as a leadership instructor at the Oblan Leadership Academy on the dwarf planet Oblan in the 8th dimension, which forms part of the Orion constellation. It is a place where leaders from this galaxy and beyond are educated to instill a new vision, to show a new way, to be trailblazers. The life as Martina on planet Earth is my first incarnation on planet Earth and the first incarnation in the dense physical of this universe. So you see, there's a pretty big gap between who I am on soul level and who I am in the dense physical of this incarnation. So how did my spiritual journey in this life truly took off that led me to becoming the walk-in of the SANAT Kumara? Having returned from the United States mid-January 2013, I was visited by a lady from the service team in Hamburg. An energy healer and channel who brought a document with her, a message she had channeled from Lord Maitreya for me, that was cross-checked by another woman of the service team in Canada. I will read to you a few lines of the message by Lord Maitreya to me. Martina is one of the souls that are offering their services through the Stellar Council of the Galactic Federation to assist us in speeding up the process with human evolution. Martina is part of a network of souls that are on the verge of putting a foot on the ground to change the behavioral expression of decision makers worldwide. Now, fast forward to August 2013 and picture me in a sunlit park in Vancouver in sight and sound of the sea, sitting on a bench together with the Canadian woman who did the cross-check of Lord Maitreya's first message to me, and Sharon K. Richards, editor of the Ageless Wisdom Evolving textbook series, in which master teachers provide up-to-date information to us through her. The Ageless Wisdom Evolving books, by the way, I highly recommend reading. Both women channeled further messages to me, which said in a nutshell that upstairs needed to adjust my energies capacities so that I eventually would be able to communicate with them directly on a daily basis. I accepted and went through a tiring but not painful adjustment process of my chakra system for a couple of months. Fast forward to the 21st of December 2013, where I had my first direct interaction with Master Joshua, aka Jesus, in the Radisson Blu Hotel at Heathrow Airport in England. Joshua asked me to allow him to be in my energy field permanently and to guide my steps. Again, I gladly and gratefully accepted. What did that guidance entail, you may ask? Well, it included 3 relocations between 2014 and 2020. I moved to the places where the master teachers needed me the most to do energy work for them. What kind of energy work? Well, clearing old energies out of buildings visited by many and anchoring master teachers' energies, for example. How did I learn that? I was trained by the members of the service team regularly, and when they had me up to speed and challenges provided by the master teachers, we did energy work in places like Rome, Paris, Potsdam, Cologne, and many more together. These were majestic experiences, and I cannot thank the other women enough for helping me realize my abilities and potential to be able to contribute to the plan as laid out by the master teachers. Once that part of my training was complete and I was able to contribute, the next chapter of my mission opened. On October 6, 2014, I received messages from Lord Maitreya, Dwalkul, Moya, and Serapis Bey, of which I will read you a few lines again. Spiritual guidance around the world is Martina's playing field. Novels, a series of novels, grounded in fact, grounded in spirituality, blending the East and the West, the old and the new, blending the North and the South, based on realigned versions of ancient wisdom, messages from various sources, opportunities, walks of life. It took until June 2019 when these master teachers became more specific during a visit to Miss Richards in the United States. I was supposed to write the novel series based on the new factual information by the master teachers she provided via the Ageless Wisdom Evolving textbook series, which I had to expand on doing the blending. Master Moya especially required that I, and I quote, include representatives of all the tribes of every continent on Earth in their belief systems, the core of their truths that has been scattered like firecrackers in the sky. Master Teacher Omstara added, and I quote again, if you reach a point when you say, I can't handle it, I'm here for you. Grateful for hospitality and guidance by Ms. Richards, I went back home and started writing, based on the Ageless Wisdom Evolving series and my knowledge of other cultures, without knowing what the title of the series would be. About 3 months into finishing volume 1 of the series, the SANAT Kumara came through to me and asked me to call the series The Chronicles of SANAT Kumara. I was shocked. Who am I that the SANAT Kumara addresses me? Wasn't it enough to digest and handle that I worked for some master teachers? So I asked him, are you sure? Yes, he was, and he explained that he and I had a pre-incarnation agreement that I would be his voice, his messenger, his representative in the dense physical of planet Earth to reach all people of Earth, especially their leaders. I had followed the master teacher's guidance, had accepted the changes that this brought into my life, so I was ready for the final step that was planned for right from the start. Only I was unaware of it. The novel series expanded beyond the human family on Earth to include all other kingdoms for which the SANAT Kumara is responsible, and to become his messenger, and since the walk-in in February 2022, also his representative on Earth. Question number 4. How did I build trust in my own abilities beyond what my 5 senses showed me and my thinking initially allowed for, you may ask? Being trained by the members of the service team, having cross-checked the messages I received from master teachers by them, and doing energy service work together with the service team in various projects, had built my trust on my own abilities step by step. Today, I can be a mentor like they have been for me to others. In addition, I asked questions to the SANAT Kumara to which I needed answers like, why was I born and raised in Germany to serve your needs? His answer was astonishing. There were 2 options, Germany and Japan. Both countries had inflicted serious harm to their neighbors with wars they initiated, but were able to make up for the damage, recover, and become a respected part of the community of nations again. Germany was the first choice due to its location at the heart of Europe and its cultural and language proximity to other nations. Japan has always been an island in many ways. The SANAT Kumara has built his trust in me because he could not only observe my development in this incarnation without me being aware of it, but he also has access to my cosmic CV, and with that my past track record going back into the universe before this one. It was him who decided when the time was right to start working together. When he asked me to become his walk-in at the beginning of the year, he surprised me again. It took time to understand what that would mean for me and him, and how this would throw me into a very public worldwide role. Question number 5. How do the SANAT Kumara and I work together now? The Martina I once was is gone. He has taken over now. Even my physical appearance has changed, most notably my eyes. I feel calm and composed as never before. I've gained access to his higher dimensional reality, and this triggers questions which I ask him, seeking clarification nearly daily. He's patient with me, reminding me that he is me now and that my perception is real. The SANAT Kumara has revealed to me the visions he wants to bring into reality for Earth and all who call Earth home by the end of this year, in 2 years' time, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. And every morning we fine-tune the steps to be taken. The steps also include servicing God's cosmic communication system with the first main station of Earth open in the octagon of Aachen Cathedral. Here, everyone who comes to the place in a silent moment is able to receive messages from one or more of the 20 master teachers representing all cultures on planet Earth. As Aachen Cathedral is the religious home of the local Catholic parish of Aachen, as well as a worldwide heritage site where tourists without a spiritual interest flock to, visitors for messages need some guidance, which I provide for the time being. The SANAT Kumara also determines my rhythm of life, which begins in the awake cycle of my body in the early morning hours between 4 and 5 a.m., with a prayer and thanks to all I have the privilege of working with in all cultures and dimensions, followed by yoga, asanas, meditation, a light breakfast, and the tasks of the day. I live off a vegan diet, drink plenty of fresh water, tea, and 1 espresso per day. My daily tasks include recording the next podcast, meeting or communicating with people who seek his guidance as a new leader, showing people around in Aachen Cathedral to receive their personal messages. The tasks also include translating Volume 2 of the Chronicles from German into British English and finding a native British English speaker doing the final editing. It also includes writing Volume 3 of the Chronicles in German, writing short stories about the Stone People and the Aldebaran in German and English, as well as painting personal portals for leaders of the New Earth to open up direct contact to the SANAT Kumara. In addition, I'm responsible for the cosmic communication system from the dense physical perspective, and in that role cooperate and coordinate with all involved in this massive reconnecting project for planet Earth. You see, my days are filled and I could do with help. During the hours my body rests, I usually join the SANAT Kumara in his dimension to broaden my perception. I think that's all for my first introduction. Thank you for listening to my story. Please feel free to ask your questions using the contact button of the homepage thesanatkumara.com. Over to you again, dear SANAT Kumara. This is the SANAT Kumara again. Martina has surrendered her old life to live her purpose. Her soul's mission during this incarnation, and I hope many of you are encouraged to follow in her and the members of the service team's footsteps. Many of you listening now still await their purpose to reveal itself. All of you have a soul mission that is related to the changes the shift from the third through the fifth dimension brings about. Listen to your heart and inner voice and get into action mode. Do what feels right now, although it does not feel easy. and please distribute my messages far and wide. We are in this massive shift from the third to the fifth dimension together. Next week, in my 15th message to you, the people of Earth, especially the leaders of the new Earth, I will give you a deeper introduction into the complexity of my responsibility and how that overlaps with the reality you currently perceive. Make sure you listen once again. I love you all and I bless you all. This is the SANAT Kumara.